This is how much you can make with a $20,000 stock portfolio without having to risk a lot of your capital and actually being diversified. So for example, my portfolio is currently at 21,600 at the time that I am making this video. And if you can see on the year to date tab, we are up about 17%, which is around $3,260. Now keep in mind, this is not realized gains. That means this is not closed positions, but a huge part of it is. And if we take a look at the 1 month chart, it's about 2%, which is around $479, which is not crazy amount of money, but it's still a lot, at least to me. Now there are different ways how you can make money on Robinhood with stocks and just the platform in general. Obviously, number one is going to be selling and buying stocks at a profit. Number two, which is what I consider to be the safest, and I think what's making me a lot of recurring income, is going to be selling puts on companies that you want to own at a lower price. Another way that you can earn on the Robinhood platform is with dividends. And then there's one more, which I find that has been working out for me, which is having Robinhood Gold, because they pay you a 4.5% interest. As you can see here, so far this month, I've earned about $5.72 in interest, and the lifetime interest paid is $118, which is a lot less than what I've paid for the Robinhood Gold membership. Now, if you take a look here on the options tab, you can see I do have a lot of puts open, and I have one call on SCHD, and I'm going to go into that in a second. Now, as you can see, my portfolio is currently broken down almost to half between an individual cash and stocks. That's because I have not seen many opportunities in the market, and I'm using the cash to sell puts and make some income in the time that I'm not invested in stock. About 49.54% is going to be invested in actual stocks, and then I have currently 50% in cash. Obviously, you didn't see that. Now you saw about 4 grand in the cash because I have around 6,000 in puts. Now, before taking a look at just the puts, I'm going to show you a little bit of my portfolio history. As you can see, I'm getting paid dividends from these companies right here, apart from others. And then there's going to be some recent activities in options where I sell a lot of puts, and I'm also selling calls on only 2 companies, which is going to be NEO and an ETF, which is SCHD that you saw previously. And also, if you notice, you're going to be seeing some stock sales of videos that I made before. For example, on Disney, I bought it below, I think it was like $110, only 3 shares, and then it just spiked up. If you guys been watching the videos, I don't like this. I don't think Disney should be at $120 right now. So if it does fall back below 100, I'm gonna open a much bigger position on this company, and the more it drops, the more I'm gonna average down and then hold it for the long term. I know it's not the best strategy, it's just what's been working for me in this past year. That's how I've managed to make almost 17% in year to date portfolio gains. And one of the stock that made me the most money is gonna be Google. As you can see here, I sold 2 shares, and over here I sold 10 shares, closing my total 12 shares of ownership on this company. My target was $200. Google surpassed that. I closed the position. I was happy with my gains, so I move on to using my money on something else. Now, what I really wanted to show you was the selling puts and show you how much money you can make. I know it's not a lot, guys, but you have to keep in mind that I only have a $20,000 portfolio, and I'm not using all of that to sell puts. And a lot of companies are a higher price that I would like to own, and I don't have the capital to sell puts on those. Because keep in mind, when you sell a put, and if you do get assigned, you have to buy 100 shares of that stock. So for example, if you sell a put on a $40 company like Hims and you get assigned the put at the expiration date of August 22, you're gonna have to end up buying 100 shares of Hims, meaning you're gonna have to invest $4,000. Now, obviously, if you're doing lower cost stocks like NU, for example, that I do a $12 put, you can do about 2 or 3 contracts and it's gonna be the same $4,000, and you're only gonna make $6. And here, for doing it with one stock, you make $8. Okay, this is how I close the option. This is not what I made. So for example, I sold the Hims put for $13. That's what I got in credit, and I closed it for $8. So in between, I got $3, and I did this pretty much in the same day. I know you're listening to me right now saying, listen to this guy just making $3, but it adds up, guys. I'm gonna show you a picture right now of what I made so far in the month just selling options. Now, currently the companies that I'm most doing the puts on is gonna be Hims, NU, Novo Nordisk. I'm doing it as well, but this is just I open a position. This is not financial advice. You do as you wish. I've been selling a lot of NEO calls because I do own 200 shares of these, and I've been making some premium selling calls at $6. My average cost is $5.91. I want to get rid of the stock. I don't want to hold it anymore, but I am making consistent income on a monthly basis selling calls. Again, I'm doing this with SoFi, Hims, NEO, Novo Nordisk. I've just sold a call on SCHD at $27.50. I am making some gains on this. My average cost is below $27.50, and I don't mind selling calls. If I sell out of all my shares, then well, so be it. It is what it is. I want to use that money to sell more puts. I think it's been a little bit more consistent in terms of the income than just having to wait a whole year to get $100 from SCHD in dividend. Again, as you can see here throughout the month of August, again, guys, I'm just giving you all my stock buys here. So this is not financial advice. is just what I'm doing. So yeah, again, selling more puts on SoFi, selling more puts on OS. Also keep in mind, when you sell puts, try to have the delta under 20. Usually means you have a 80% chance of being profitable without getting a sign. That's pretty good odds for me. People do it differently, but it's been working for me so far. Again, HIMS again, HIMS again. Here I sold the put for 24. I bought it back for 10, so I made $12. This one I made $32. I still have it open because the expiration is too far out. So the spread, if I were to sell it now, it'd be negative. So I'm just going to wait for it to close in out of the money, and then I'll just cash my $32. And that's about it, guys. I mean, it's not really money that's going to change your life, but little by little, overall, your portfolio is going to increase. Overall size of my portfolio, again, is $21,000. And the all-time capital gains is going to be 23%, which is a lot. If you consider the stock market or the S&P 500, it usually averages return of about 8 or 10%. I'm currently at 23%, so I am very happy with that, and that's going to equate to about $4,000. Again, this is not realized profit, this is just the gain from the portfolio. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.